Good morning. Call the Kent County Community Health and Safety Committee to order. First item on the agenda is public comment. Anybody from the public wishing to speak, you have 3 minutes to address the committee. Good morning. Please state your name and your address.
How y'all doing? $2 billion company, Epic Games, on TV, educating the public education system here in this city. But the cool thing about it, I just secured another $10,000 from the Office of Oversight and Public Accountability in Epic Games on August 1st, Leo season, who are very sophisticated, confident, egotistical people. Leo season, August 1st. They're going to be educating the people again. And I have the people who actually created the technical side, who actually created the documents where you upload your stuff into it. So the in-game economy, I'm going to change the globe. I'm already a leader, global business leader. D. Jones, let's get it, Republicans, Dems, I don't care. Let's change the globe because I'm already going to do it.
Thank you. Anybody else under public comment this morning? Okay, seeing none. Our next item on the agenda is approval of minutes. We have a motion to approve the minutes from February 25, 2025.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner LeGrand, supported by Commissioner Merchant. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Okay, motion carried. Next, we have special order of businesses. We have 2 items on the agenda for presentation. We'll start with the Kent Conservation District. I see Jerry Miller is here, along with Aaron Sloan Turner. So Jerry, good morning. Thanks for being here. We always look forward to your presentation, and you may begin when you're ready.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Hildebrand and Commissioners. Good morning, and Administrator Vanderberg. Good morning to everyone. I'm Jerry Miller. I'm one of the 5 board members, elected board members of the Kent Conservation District. I happen to serve as the chair, and with me is our district manager, Aaron Sloan Turner. And so I'm going to start off and start the presentation, and I'll turn it over to Aaron. And just Commissioner Hildebrand, I am a resident of Cascade, and I'm on the east side of the Thornapple, so I am your constituent. And so I just wanted to make that connection with you this morning. We have a short presentation, and then in your packet or in the some additional information, but we'll go through a short presentation. We have a couple videos to share with you as well. I'm going to take a minute and just share a little bit of history. Kent Conservation District is one of the 3,000 districts across our nation. And all of our conservation districts were founded out of the Dust Bowl. And at that time, President Roosevelt worked with his staff, and he sent each governor a model legislation for each state to establish conservation districts. And here in Michigan, within a year after President Roosevelt's model legislation was sent, the state of Michigan and the legislature and the governors signed off in 1937, Public Act 239, and established the soil conservation districts within the state. And so the Kent District was established in 1946. So we are, 79 years of history serving the citizens of Kent County in terms of soil conservation. As you see on the slide, you see that rolling cloud of dust, and that happened in the 30s, when the 20s were a lot of rain, and then the 30s turned dry. And there was an area in the panhandle of Oklahoma, the panhandle, I guess they call it, of Texas, north of Lubbock, and then southwest and western Kansas and southeast Colorado. That was called no man's land. In other words, it was pretty semi-arid, and it was not populated. And so our federal government encouraged folks to settle that area, and the farmers tilled the land and ended up obviously creating little vegetation as the drought set in on the 30s, and thus we had the Dust Bowl. And it was interesting that on April 14, 1935, that picture you see of the rolling dust was called Black Sunday, and that really got the attention of the conservationists, and out of that came the legislation for the conservation districts. And I want to just read, I've been reading, many of you have read The Grapes of Wrath, and that talked about the people that left that area and went to California, as you remember in Steinbeck's book. But another book that I'm reading is The Worst Hard Times by Tim Egan. And I want to read this last sentence to him, talking about the founder of the soil conservation movement nationally, Hugh Hammond Bennett. And I'm not going to read everything, but it says, his legacy, the soil conservation district, spread throughout America. And it is the only New Deal grassroots operation that survives today. So we have a rich history coming out of some unfortunate circumstances. As I said, we have 5 elected board directors, including myself. We have 2 farmers, Carly Kochi and Colin Crumbach. James DeYoung is our vice chair, and James has his own consulting firm. He does what we call comprehensive nutrient management consulting for farmers. He works with CAFOs, those are the confined animal feeding operations. He has probably 60% of those in terms of his consulting for comprehensive nutrient management across the state. And then Kim Clark, who's with Varnum Law, is our other director. The Public Act 451, which updated the original act, gave us 5 mandates for us to follow. And when we communicate with Administrator Vanderberg, and when we sit down with him each year, and when we follow up with any correspondence, we make sure we include these 5 mandates that give the direction for the conservation district. And I think the first 2, I just want you to focus on those first 2, and that is to provide technical assistance to landowners for developing their conservation plans. And to do that, we work hand in hand, lock arms and arms with our partners, the USDA Natural Resources Conservation Service, and our staff works very closely with our district conservationists, which I'll introduce shortly as well. And second, to do what I call outreach to make sure that farmers and producers are aware of what's in the Farm Bill program for cost share and other assistance. And so we really focus on those two efforts in the Conservation District, providing technical assistance and providing outreach. And we do that in multiple ways, including field days and other workshops and other kind of events, as well as just visiting with farmers and producers one-on-one. I'm going to, this short video will give you an overview, if it'll play, Lisa. What do I need to do to make it? There we go.
Oh, sorry.
It was playing.
Michigan is filled with
There we
many amazing natural features, but surprisingly, only 28% of the state's land area is set aside for conservation or public use. The remaining 72% is privately owned, including farmland. This means that private landowners and farmers play a significant role in managing our state's natural resources. Since its establishment in 1946, the Kent Conservation District has assisted landowners in the restoration, protection, and sustainable management of their land. Working at the local level rather than through regulatory action allows us to directly support our diverse populations and represent the local interests of our communities. By promoting practices that improve the quality of Kent County's water and land, we are directly advocating for the health and well-being of its inhabitants. The Kent Conservation District has diligently served Kent County residents in this way through a variety of programs and funding opportunities. Last year, we accomplished this through leveraging over $1.8 million in U.S. Department of Agriculture Natural Resource Conservation Service cost shares for conservation efforts on over 13,000 acres in Kent County. Partnering with local organizations through state grants to address sources of sediment, nutrient, and E. coli contamination within local waterways, offering educational workshops and 4 separate native plant sales to community members, and engaging landowners under the Michigan Agriculture Environmental Assurance Program, which provides no-cost environmental risk assessments to local farms and verifies producers' commitments to protecting our soil and water resources. Last year, we completed 26 assessments and verified 8 new producers. In the past year, the Kent Conservation District also employed an engineer and a conservationist through grants from the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation and the Michigan Department of Agriculture and Rural Development. These allowed district staff to work on a total of 117 different projects, 12 of which were located within Kent County, in addition to assisting nearly 30 Kent County landowners. And finally, the district treated 255 sites within Kent County for state-regulated invasive species, including on county-owned and public lands. The invasive strike team was able to respond to 120 additional landowner concerns regarding invasive species that are harmful to native plants and wildlife or that threaten natural resource quality. Thanks to the collaborative efforts of generous community partners like you, these programs and support services have made significant strides in promoting healthy lands and healthy people. Ongoing support from the Kent County Commissioners will secure widespread and lasting impacts for the community by enabling us to continue educating and assisting landowners in conservation best management practices. It has been said that the future of conservation districts is the future of our nation's natural resources. Together with you, we can protect and enhance Kent County's valuable land and water for the health of our families and for future generations. This video was sponsored by the Kent Conservation District because healthy soils give rise to healthy food, leading to healthy people, a healthy environment, a healthy Michigan, and a healthy planet.
As I mentioned, we work very closely with our USDA Natural Resources Conservation Service partners and our district conservation, and soil conservationists are shown here on this slide, Matt Sono and Lane Ross. At this point, I'm going to ask Aaron to introduce our staff and also pick up a couple of projects that we are working on.
Thank you. So bear with me. I lost my voice over the weekend at our tree sale, so if I'm a little hoarse, that's why. So thank you for the opportunity to be here today. So a little bit about our staff. So we have people who focus more in the ag spaces with residents in Kent County, and those staff would be Katie, who is our soil conservationist, and Michael, who's our MEP tech on the slide there, as well as Bob Klein. We'll talk a little bit more about it, and you'll see a video in a little bit, but we have a no-till drill that Bob can help residents with when they're thinking about planting and stuff in the spring and fall. And then, as was mentioned, we have an invasive species strike team, and so the coordinator of that is Ryan on the screen there. And members of that team are Samantha, David, and Andrew, and they go out either in public or private land and help to eradicate invasive species, whether with contracts with different organizations across the county or residents that really just want help on their private land. And as was mentioned in the previous video, John is our NIFWIF engineer, so he really works closely with different teams to help with projects that are happening throughout the county. And Joel was our former MEP tech, and now he is going to school to get his PhD, but he's our watershed specialist, so we're happy to keep him on. And Shannon has been with us to help us. There's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes with tree and plant sales that are a fundraiser for the district to help get native plants and trees across the community, so she's been really helping on the backside with that. And then our work is not possible without a variety of community partners and grant partners. So on the screen, you'll see several of those. Michael's role is paid for through the MEP program, MEP and MDARD programs. We really appreciate the funds that county has given us for us to help to diversify the work we're doing. And we're co-located, if you don't know, with NRCS and USDA, just north of the Frederick Meyer Gardens. John's funding is really paid for through that NIFWIF grant, so we're able to keep him on through that. And then we work with Eagle on a few projects, watershed-specific projects, and Elgro as well as the Rogue River Watershed Partners. And our strike team has been working really hand in hand with Kent County Parks, Ada Parks, and Cascade to really help with that invasive species control. So in our fiscal year of 2024, we leveraged $50,000, and this is how we leveraged those funds on the screen. And I want to take a moment to thank you for fiscal year 2025, which we're in now, that you've given us an increase of $75,000 for us to diversify the work that we're doing in the county. And in 2023, we had the opportunity to purchase a no-till drill. And here's a video to highlight really the impact that drill has made on farmers across Kent County.
Kent County, Michigan can take advantage of USDA conservation assistance programs, such as the Natural Resource Conservation Service, the Conservation Stewardship Program, the Environmental Quality Incentives Program, and the Michigan Agriculture Environmental Assurance Program. Not only do these programs offer a wide range of opportunities for landowners to improve their operational sustainability, but they also provide incentives for implementing conservation practices that deliver long-term environmental benefits. On top of all this, agricultural producers now have access to yet another tool in the toolbox thanks to a partnership with the Kent Conservation District, a brand new Great Plains 12-foot no-till drill. The no-till drill was acquired in 2023 through a collaboration between the Kent Conservation District and the Rogue River Watershed Partners, and it was partially financed through a watershed support grant from the Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes, and Energy. Now, the drill is available for rent to landowners in and around Kent County for a broad range of applications, including cover crops, grass and wildflower plantings for pollinators, native plant riparian buffers for erosion and flooding control, or installation of row crops such as soybeans. This drill has the ability to spread 3 different seed types simultaneously at different rates. It includes boxes for small seeds, native grass seeds, and grain seeds. Other features include a maximum coverage of 19 rows at 7.5-inch spacing, 3x13 center rib press wheel, 5/8-inch turbo coulters, a clevis hitch, 3 seed boxes, and a seed box agitator for use with native grasses.
It's actually a pretty easy unit. You need a tractor at least equivalent to the weight of the drill, which I'm recommending a minimum of 6,500 pounds. If you're on any hilly ground, you're going to want a 10,000-pound tractor with duals or wide spacing. This is a very expensive unit. If you wanted to do cover crop in the fall, this is a very good unit. And you have 3 box options if you want to do multi-species. If you got highly erodible ground and you're trying to keep in compliance, this would be a great drill. For conservation practices, this is the way a smaller operator can do it without laying out the overhead. Economics? Yeah, it makes sense.
Producers have the option to use the drill with their own equipment, or they can request that services be performed by a Conservation District technician. Please note that this drill is not intended for use with fertilizers. Using the drill is simple, and if cost is a barrier, a Kent Conservation District or an NRCS technician can perform a free and confidential assessment to determine whether landowners may qualify for a conservation assistance program or other incentives. If you or an agricultural producer you know are interested in using this drill or learning about other conservation assistance programs, contact the Kent Conservation District office today. USDA is an equal opportunity provider, employer, and lender. This video was sponsored by the Kent Conservation District with funding from the National Association of Conservation Districts. Agricultural producers in
Sorry about that. All right. Well, I wanted to thank you again for including us as a line item in the budget. And at this time, I want to ask you if there are any questions for Jerry or I today.
Great. Thank you for the presentation. I do have one question. I should know the answer to this, but so you have a board of 5 elected board members. I don't remember seeing them on the ballot. So how is the election and what are the terms? I assume they were appointed, but it says elected, so.
So we serve 4-year terms, and yes, we are not on the August or the November ballot, but we hold all of the districts in all of the districts in Michigan, we hold our elections, public elections, at our annual meeting.
Aye.
So, and we have, not everyone's up every year for those 4-year terms. And also, we have no term limits. So in my case, I was first elected in 2014.
Okay, great. Thank you. I know Administrator Vandenberg has a couple comments, and then we'll open it up to questions from board members. Administrator?
Yeah.
Thank you for the presentation. I just wanted to mention, we sit in this room, we have a lot of presentations, we get questions about what do we do outside Grand Rapids, all that kind of thing. But this is a major way that we support agriculture. And when I was here the first time, there were some issues that kind of stopped funding the district. And about 3 months shortly after I got back here, we met with Jerry. Jerry met with me. He's an outstanding promoter in the district. And we kind of got on a 4-year plan of getting them up to $100,000 a year. And so this, in the 2025 budget, we're at $75,000. And then next year, we would be at 100,000. And that's kind of where we see some of the county. This is an important program for agriculture that shows that I think this county's committed to understand that part as well.
Thank you, Administrator. Any comments or questions from board members? Commissioner LeGrand?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for the presentation. Now I know what a no-till drill is. Didn't look like a drill to me, but I think I understand what it does. Really exciting that you have this, piece of equipment that you can share with farmers and they don't have to lay out for it. That's really tremendous. It's very exciting. And I also just want to put a shout out. I was able to make my first native plant sale last year, and it was amazing. Highly recommend. They have so much on offer and people who know everything about it. So it was really great. I spent a lot of money. And everything seems to be coming up this spring, so that's very exciting. It's a great service for educating people who might want to start planting more native pollinators, and it was easy and fun. So thank you for that.
And Commissioner LeGrand, I just mentioned that we had our tree seedling sale this past Saturday, but our wildflower and native grass sale is May 10th, and the order forms are on the website. So we look forward to seeing you on May 10th.
And you can follow them on social media. That's how you find out about these things. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner LeGrand. Commissioner Hennessy.
Thank you. I do think that there is one of your seats that is appointed by Kent County. Is that true?
What is your question?
One of our seats is appointed by Kent County.
No, not
Not
on the district board, Commissioner Hennessy. One of the seats that is appointed is for the County Agriculture Preservation Board. And
Oh, okay.
And so,
That's- okay, that's what I remember.
as I think you have shared, that one of the positions on the Agriculture Preservation Board, I think that's the correct term, it has to represent conservation. And so Carolyn Johnson previously served that role. She decided not to renew after her 3 years. And so currently, Kaylee Rash is our appointee for the Farmland Preservation Board, and she represents conservation. And we also have
Thank you.
appointed her as an associate director. We have no limits on how many associate directors that we have, so the board can appoint associate directors. So Kaylee we appointed her back in January, I think, as associate director.
Thank you. I appreciate that clarification and correction a little
Yeah,
bit.
when
But I
we-
knew you were also involved
Yeah.
beyond.
And we thank you for your support, because if you may recall, about 4 years ago, you reminded us that there was a position for conservation and encouraged us to find someone, and that's how we found Carolyn Johnson initially. So, thank you.
Well, thank you. I am curious, asking the political question here, has your office been affected by changes happening at the federal level?
Yes and no. As Aaron mentioned, we are co-located with USDA Natural Resources Conservation Service. That is a great benefit because we pay no rent for that. They provide the space, and they also provide our staff access to the NRCS computers, which allows them to work, to collaborate directly with the USDA staff. What it has happened, there were two positions that were probationary, two individuals that were probationary, and they have been laid off, and now they have both decided to take the buyout, and so they have until they have to make that decision by April 30. Those individuals, actually, one of them had worked for the district, and she was an engineer as a district employee, and on November 16, she had moved her to USDA NRCS as an area engineer. All she did was come in and same desk, same location, but then she was caught up as a probationary employee, and so she was dismissed. The other individual was the area conservationist assistant or secretary, and she also was probationary, and she was laid off. We brought her back, as she was on the slide that Aaron showed. We brought her back and worked part-time for the district, but now she's also required to take the buyout. So that's how we are being impacted. We can also talk about, and I could go into great lengths about some of the Farm Bill programs that have been impacted. And I'll just give a short example. So in the Environmental Quality Incentives Program, nationally in the Inflation Reduction Act, the IRA that was passed in 2020, 21, nationally, there was $20 billion for conservation. And some of those IRA funds was to ramp up the Environmental Quality and Incentives Program, the Conservation Stewardship Program, some of the easement program, and some of the other programs. With the freeze on the IRA, we had farmers that had already negotiated contracts to get funded. And since those funds have been frozen, now some farmers are left with an empty bag, if you understand what I'm saying. They made their investments, so NRCS is attempting to move them back to the traditional Environmental Quality Incentives Program, but now it's much more competitive because there's less opportunities with the reduction or the elimination of the IRA funding. I said I'd give you a short answer. That was maybe more than a short answer, but thank you for that question. So yes, we and our partners are being impacted by the programs that administer at the federal level.
Thank you. I appreciate the explanation, and I really appreciate that Kent County has been able to at least help boost over the recent years the amount of money that you have available, and particularly as matches for grants.
And that has allowed us, for some of these projects that are in your packet, that has allowed us to provide the in-kind match, because most of those grants, other than the ones from the Department of Ag and Rural Development, many of those grants like EPA 319 grants and others, the NIFWIF grant, all of those required match. So that's one of the ways, as the slide showed, how we have leveraged the county dollars for match.
Thank you.
So thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Morse.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for the presentation. It was very informative, and for somebody who doesn't work in sciences like what you do, this is way over my head, but it's very amazing to see in person. We have a Nash Creek that runs through our community, and we have a volunteer that I think works very closely with you guys, and using that word leverage, I think, is really the key. They leverage energy, money, expertise, everything. I've learned so much about it. We've removed the invasive species along Nash Creek in downtown Sparta and planted it with the native all types of varieties. And it is astonishing, just absolutely unbelievable, the difference. And of course, the science part of it and the runoff and the erosion and all of those things play a factor, but even just visually, it is gorgeous and way better than what we ever had before, which was, I guess, basically invasive weeds that were kind of taking over the space. So thank you for your work, and thank you for bringing the presentation to us in a way that we can digest and keep it up. Thank you very much.
Mr. Chair, can I respond to? So I would just want to share with you, Nash Creek is a project that we are working hand in hand with the County Drain Commissioner, Ken Yonker, and his engineer, Joel Morgan. Yesterday morning, we do a monthly webinar, or whatever you want to call it, a Zoom meeting. And we had that yesterday morning, and Joel Morgan was on, and he talked about some of the current efforts and where they're at with the work in Nash Creek. So thank you.
Administrator has another comment.
One other quick comment would just be that the 5 mandates that Jerry outlined are mandated by the state of Michigan, as is funding of the district. When the Great Recession hit, they stripped most of the funding from the districts around the state, and it hasn't recovered yet. So as you talk to legislators, this is something we try to keep as part of our ongoing conversation with legislators, that they really do have a responsibility to fully fund the district. And hopefully that'll happen someday. Or even I remember thinking back in 2009 or 10 that they're the only ones with these mandates, and they have to do them. So it's not like the county could, work with them to become part of the drain office or parks or environmental health or all the different areas we have where they could fit. And that's why it's so important that I think the state stands up and fully funds them.
Okay, I don't see any more questions, so appreciate you being here this morning. And Jerry, thanks for your long time service on the board, and Aaron, your leadership on the staff. For those of us who represent the rural parts of the county, we appreciate your work and continued partnership. So thank you for being here this morning.
Yeah, and thank you and the commissioners and Administrator Vanderberg for the opportunity. We look forward to, we're always available. Anytime you have questions or want an update, we're here. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Okay, next item of business is presentation by the AYA Youth Collective. So I see Lauren Gamelin Van Kulen is here. And Lisa's scrambling to get your presentation. Yep.
All right. Right arrow. Okay, perfect.
Good.
Well, hi,
Good morning.
Commissioners. Good morning. My name's Lauren Gamlin Van Kulen. I know some of you. I'm the CEO and co-founder of AYA Youth Collective, and I brought my colleague, Stephanie Collier, who's our Vice President of Programs, just to share a little bit, thanks for the opportunity to talk to you today. You all, some of you who were on the commission at the time were ARPA funders of our Comprehensive Health Initiative. And we just wanted to take some time to give you an update on what those funds have done throughout our county. And just to really thank you for your investment in young people in Kent County, and just to show you the impact that those funds have had. And for those of you who weren't on the commission at the time, still, just thank you for your service now, and we're excited to introduce you to AYA. All right, so who is AYA? We create communities rooted in belonging for youth who are experiencing instability to own their futures. We serve 14 to 24-year-olds throughout all of Kent County. We have a drop-in space that's right downtown Grand Rapids. We do outreach into the schools across the entire county, up into North Kent and down even into South Kent. And we have housing throughout the county as well. And then we have over 30, actually 40 now, community partners that we work with, so that we're not recreating the wheel, but instead we're giving access to young people to all of the resources that they need to be successful and to move into stability. Most of the young people that we serve are experiencing all of the youth we serve are experiencing some form of housing instability, and about 70% are experiencing homelessness or at risk of homelessness, which would be like couch surfing and things like that. Last year, we served almost 800 young people in 2024, and well, Stephanie will share in just a minute a little bit more of our data. So what's our approach? We use relationships, resources, housing, and that leads to stability. And so when you're looking at young people, many 18-year-olds don't want to be treated as if they're 5 or 6, and also aren't really wanting to be treated as if they're 30 or 40 either. And so we really develop relationships that are youth-centered. So if any of you have 18, 19, 20-year-olds, you know that they are the most, in their brains, the most special humans in the world. And so we do really believe that, and we see the future that every young person has in front of them. And so our goal is to develop relationships, connect them to resources, connect them to housing, and then increase long-term stability. So in 2023, we were a recipient of the American Rescue Plan Act in the amount of $2 million to grow our comprehensive health initiative, which advanced our work in social determinants of health, behavioral health, physical health, and wellness. A few milestones that we've reached is we are in process of publishing and getting basically a clinical publication around the effectiveness of a wraparound support services for young people. We've been able to grow our facilities and staff, do program assessments and feasibility studies, and offer up countywide health fairs. So where we've reached over thousands of young people and connecting them into the culturally responsive healthcare that they need. You want to share a little bit about our facilities?
Oh, yeah. So our drop-in center is the the drop-in center that serves the ages or the youth age 14 to 24, which is like our access or our resource hub. And so with a few of our partnerships, we were able to build a partnership with Catherine's Healthcare to provide on-site medical care, exams, wound care, triaging, even direct connection to psychiatry and behavioral health. And so our drop-in center is open Monday through Friday. And we have late hours that serves youth 14 to 17 on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 6 to 7:30. And on Wednesdays, we serve youth pregnant and parenting from 12 to 2. And so we have a lot of workshops. We serve a hot meal every day. We provide showers, lockers, pretty much any and everything in order for the youth to like remove certain barriers that they're experiencing.
Yeah, that's good. The other thing I was going to add about this partnership is that we also formed a partnership with the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. This funding helped us pay for that partnership where we have an eligibility specialist that's on site. And we went from a less than 3% success rate of enrolling youth in Medicaid, food assistance, and those kinds of public benefits. And since we've had this person on site, we have a 100% success rate, and they've enrolled hundreds of young people into Medicaid and assistance, and then they're able to be served by Catherine's Health Center because they have Medicaid. And so this, as long as Medicaid continues to be funded, this will be a self-sustaining project going forward, which we're really excited about. It's not something that we'll have to continue to raise dollars for. So in 2024, we saw 792 unique youth. 487 of those youth were new. 425 of those young people, and this is 14 to 24-year-olds, just to clarify as youth again, were Category 1, so they experienced homelessness outside or in shelter. And over 3,000 youth were reached through our health fair. We had over 1,000 connections to our Michigan Department of Health and Human Services specialist. And then some major stability accomplishments, 366. Those are things like getting an apartment, getting a job, getting a vehicle to drive, getting their driver's license, things like that. And 673 bus passes, bikes, and ride shares that were distributed. This is really an interesting piece of data that I want to share with you all. Really, since the investment from ARPA and the investment in our comprehensive health initiative, we have drastically, and some investments from HUD, we have seen drastic decline in the weeks that youth are experiencing homelessness. So this graph is the weeks that until their homelessness is resolved. So where you can see in 19, 20, 21, it dipped down a little bit because we had a lot of those SARA dollars available, for those of you who know, the COVID assistance relief dollars. 2022, it went back up, and then you can start to see this steady decline. So in 2022, if you can't read it, it's 142 weeks that a young person would experience homelessness. So that's a significant period of time. And then after we started to see some of these substantial investments, we got down to, in 2024, 38 weeks, which to me is still too long for an 18-year-old to be sleeping outside, but it's significantly better than 142 weeks. And so that funding that we receive from the federal government is at jeopardy depending on how they decide to fund HUD and what happens with HUD over the next probably few months. But I think it's really powerful to see this reduction in the ways that we can reduce long-term homelessness. So one other thing that's really interesting to me is that 40% of homeless adults first experienced homelessness as a young person between this age range. And so if we can start to decrease this length of time, then we can hopefully also decrease chronicity and the number of adults that are experiencing homelessness in our county. And so I think it's just really powerful to see the investment that these resources have made. Ideally, we would get to like 1 week, 2 weeks, or 0. But we're tracking that way, and we are making a lot of progress. I said that. Do you want to? I'll keep going. No, you're good. So, like I said, 40% of homeless adults first experience homelessness as a young person. I think the ROI is really important to think about here. It costs an average of $53,000 to maintain a young person in the criminal justice system for a year, but only about $15,000 to move a youth experiencing homelessness off the streets and into long-term stability. And I'm not saying that all of our young people are a part of the criminal justice system, but many have experience with the criminal justice system. But a lot of it's due to trauma, mental health concerns, and just experiences of abuse and neglect in their lives. And so if we can intervene, we could start to see like real cost benefit to supporting these young people. Also with healthcare, there's a huge cost benefit. We are tracking our emergency room utilization rates. So with the Comprehensive Health Initiative, we're looking at, do we have a reduction in the amount of ED usage over time? Because our hope is that if we do see a reduction, or we believe that by co-locating primary care in a space that's youth-friendly, we're going to start to see this reduction in emergency department usage and ambulance usage, 911 calls, which will then, that's a public health benefit and a public health return on the investment. And so our goal is to house 307 youth by the end of 2027. And so we are continuing to track towards, the goal is that we're really reducing the number of people who are chronically homeless for long periods of time. That's all I have for you today. So do you have any questions for us?
Thank you, Lauren and Stephanie. Appreciate your presentation. Does any commissioners have questions? Commissioner LeGrand.
Thank you, Chair. As someone who was part of helping distribute ARPA dollars, it's very gratifying to see, you know, in your numbers that some real progress being made in your work. So congratulations, and it's wonderful to see. I don't envy you the anxiety you're feeling about how funding is going to unfold, and, you know, we'll hope for the best.
Yeah.
But I suppose prepare for the worst
Yes.
is what you're doing. And I just want to really express my, I'm really appreciative of the specialist you have who's enrolling everyone in these programs that they're entitled to. That's just got to be a major boost in that stabilization that you're working towards. And that's just really great. And also those, attending to those transportation needs. I think all youth in Kent County really need more transportation options, but the fact that you're really seeing to them, because it's going to help them with school and jobs and everything, is really tremendous, because I'm sure they just do not have as many options as other youth their age. So thank you again for your work. It's really impressive to see the numbers and just imagine the lives that you're improving. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner, and thanks for your ongoing support. We really appreciate it. Yeah, to add to the transportation, we've been able to also grow our transportation program by partnering with Full Circle Driving Academy here in town, which is a minority-owned business. And they provide like start to finish driver's education and driver's training, and help youth pass the tests to get their license. And then we have a 4-to-1 match program funded by local donors here in town, where youth, if they save $1,000, they can get a $4,000 match to have $5,000 to purchase a car. And then we have partnerships with some dealerships to help them do that. So just knowing, especially for our youth that are in North Kent or even South Kent, where the rapid just is not as accessible or accessible at all, having those additional transportation options has been huge. So we're hoping to grow that partnership even further too. So yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Commissioner Hennessy.
Thank you for your presentation. I've had occasion to visit twice to your offices and to the homes themselves. And and even this presentation, as you talk, emphasizes the health, and you've now emphasized the mobility, the transportation issues. It's very comprehensive what you are doing to help young people who are experiencing problems. And your building itself is unassuming from the outside, nice and neat, but unassuming. And what's within it is really very outstanding. and the all-roundedness of the support that you're using, the comprehensive nature. It's very appreciated.
Thank you.
And understated and underknown in the community, but effective. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner, and thank you too for your ongoing support and your willingness to just see what we do in person. And so I do invite any of you that would like to come and see what we're doing. We are always open to tours, so our administrative team has our contact information. One last thing I wanted to add about the MDHHS specialist that Commissioner LeGrand brought up. So the top 3 barriers that youth stated they have in accessing healthcare and accessing benefits is lack of transportation, a fear of the system or a prior bad experience, and some sort of stigma that they've experienced. And so when we co-locate all of healthcare resources and DHS in one space, that's in a space that's culturally relevant and supportive to young people, we start to see these the trajectory first towards stability go up, so. Thanks.
Well, thank you so much for your presentation, for your great work in our community, for some young adults who are facing some real challenges in their life. So thanks for all the work you do and keep it up.
For sure, and thank you all, and just really a huge thank you to all of you for your support. We wouldn't see these reduction in numbers without the investment of the county, so thank you.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to agenda item 5A. We have from the board office, we have appointments to various boards, commissioners, and committees. Administrator Vanderberg.
Yes, the board committee did review a number of individuals for 4 appointments and came up with Rob Howard for the Community Corrections Advisory Board, David Velt for the Community Health Advisory Committee, John Gorney for the Materials Management Planning Committee,
and Zeb Bryant for the Remonumentation Peer Review Group.
Great. I sat in on those interviews. We have some great people stepping up to serve on these various committees. Any questions, comments? All right, look for a motion to adopt.
Do you have a question?
Oh, sorry, Commissioner LeGrand.
Thank you, Chair. I just have a question. I know we're in the middle of a new committee structure. My understanding was that this committee was the one that would sort of oversee board appointments. So did this, it doesn't look like this mini committee came out of this group since Commissioner DeBoer was on it. So I'm just wondering what happened there.
Commissioner DeBoer and I, because there were some that needed kind of quick action, we reviewed them and then interviewed them. So it was just a small committee. 2 of us sat on that.
Okay.
And we're going to expand that a little bit more as we move down the road with further appointments.
But that is a task of this committee.
Okay,
Correct.
yeah, that's what I thought. And my impression from the years past is that we're always, we were pretty careful to make sure we've got Rs and Ds on all those groups. So just was wondering
Right.
because I didn't hear anything about this and then there was.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
We'll expand it in future appointments. Commissioner Hennessy.
Can you review for us then, how you and Commissioner DeBoer reviewed these, how many applicants we might have had for the various positions?
Yes.
Since we're coming at this with having nothing but the final recommendations here.
Right. I don't have that right in front of me right now, but we can get that and get back to you.
You don't have that in front of you? I'm going to have a hard time
Lisa
supporting
can
this, given the lack of information we have.
Lisa can probably pull that up, or no?
Yeah, and I think several of these did not have, there was only one applicant, and it was reviewed by the department. And so, there wasn't, we just wanted to interview and make sure they were still interested, go over their qualifications. There wasn't a lot of people that were applying for these, so they were approved by the department, and then we just wanted to check in with them over a virtual call. I think Lisa's getting that information.
7 total between all of the positions.
For the 4? Okay, and some weren't qualified for it, and then we took the agency's or the department's recommendation as well into consideration.
when was the closing period? What was the application and the closing period? What was the time frame for seeking these applications?
Elisa will have that. I don't have that right in front of me.
So for some of these, they were posted for the month of January. Then we had a couple of others that were posted, let's see, in February.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the appointments. Moved by Commissioner Merchant, supported by Commissioner Morse. All those in favor say aye. 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 All those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Yep, and Commissioner Vandenberg, or Administrator Vandenberg.
I just wanted to formally welcome Taylor Porritt. She's here as the board liaison. We're delighted to have her on staff and hope you get to know her soon.
Welcome, Taylor. Look forward to working with you. We're going to move on to miscellaneous. I just like to recognize we have a couple colleagues joining us. Our board chair, Commissioner Green, Commissioner Faber, and of course, always great to see our sheriff, Michelle LaJoy Young, with us. So we'll be on our best behavior with the chair watching. Any miscellaneous from board members? Okay, see none. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Moved by Commissioner Merchant, supported by Commissioner Morse. All those in favor say aye.